Hey y'all, so I'm starting this video off by already doing my natural nail prep, applying her tips, and now here I am just applying some dehydrator and primer. So the client that I'm doing today just happens to be my cousin, so she does not get to pick her designs, okay? I am going to be doing a freestyle on her, so I'm going to start off by creating a French. Y'all know if I'm doing a freestyle, it will incorporate some kind of French nail, okay? So I'm going to just take this color, and I believe this is Valentino's Perfect Nude, and I'm going to start off by just applying that bead at the back of the nail, pointing her finger down, and then I'm going to walk that bead down and start molding it into a almond shape. So once I start walking this bead down, I'm going to keep in mind the design that I'm going to be doing. At the tip, I'm going to be adding some art on top. So I don't want my reverse nail bed to be too far down. So that's why you saw me take a little bit of that off, and now I'm just forming it back into that almond shape. Alright, once I have that outline made, now I'm going to come in as if this was a solid full nail, and I'm going to start building it up. So this is my second bead. I'm going to place it right there at that stress area, and that's where I'm going to start creating my strength. And I consider these nails to be pretty long, so I want to make sure that my apex is really strong. So I'm going to use in total 4 beads. So that was my third bead, and now I'm coming in with my final fourth bead, and that's going to be covering the back of my cuticle area, and it's going to blend through all the rest of those others. So for the pinky, I want to add a little glitter design. But in order to do that, I want to have a background to that glitter. So I'm coming in with my nude, and I'm going to apply a layer, but I'm going to make sure that it's pretty much thin. I want it still to be opaque, but I still don't want to create any kind of strength or structure with this one. I just want it as a background. So the glitter that I'm using is from Glitter Planet UK, and it is a mix of a yellow and kind of, I guess, a lime green. They're both kind of neon colors, and I don't want too much. As you can see, I picked up, I felt like what was too much, and so now I'm going to just kind of come through with my brush and sweep most of that off. I want it to just kind of be not so boom in your face, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna add something on top of this, and I just kind of want you to see that glitter from underneath. So now I'm going to come in and cap these with clear, and I'm going to use the same technique that I used on the other nail. So I used 4 beads to create that structure. I'm going to do the same thing when it comes to my capping. Now my nude, my glitter, that was very thin and just the pretty much design, but now I'm coming in and creating my structure. So if I used 4 beads in the other nail, I want to do that throughout the set. You want to make sure that whatever you do on one, you're doing on the others, especially when it comes to capping and filing. You want to be at the same when it comes to those, because you want all of your nails to look the same. You don't want one too thick, one too thin, one a coffin, one maybe kind of looking almond. You kind of want to keep everything in order. So for the ring finger, I have already applied a thin layer of clear, and now I'm coming in with some transfer foil nail gel, and I'm going to just apply a thin layer on the tip, cure that for 60 seconds, and then I'm just going to apply a snake skin foil to that nail. I'm going to line that up over the nail first, and then I'm just going to place it down and then start rubbing that foil in. You want to make sure that you really take your time and you rub this foil in. Foils can be finicky Sometimes they work well, sometimes they don't. I do notice with different foils, you get different outcomes. This one is pretty new. I recently just got it, and I felt like it gave me a pretty good transfer. Some of them you really have some spots missing, and you have to sometimes go in with another layer of gel and fill it in. But this one wasn't so bad. I felt like it was a good transfer. So for this one, I'm going to do it just the solid nude. I'm thinking that I want kind of a statement nail, so kind of your accent nail. And when I do something like that, if it's going to be like a lot, I'm going to make sure that that background is just pretty much plain. So I'm going to apply this, like I said, with 4 beads.
Just pulled up to the house. Don't feel like getting out. I'ma just lay back and crack this window. I've been doing my best, taking a moment to rest, feeling stressed out.
So after I applied that foil, I went in with a non-wipe top coat, cured it for 60 seconds, and now I'm coming in and I'm going to start my ombre. So I'm going to start with a medium-sized bead, apply it right on top of that foil, walk it from sidewall to sidewall, and then blend it through. Now normally it's kind of tough to get these ombres with the foil, because that foil is so opaque that sometimes it just peeks through the ombre and you're not getting like a true fade. But for some reason today it was working pretty good. I was able to get a good fade with this ombre. So I'm just going to use small beads and start just building that back area up. Now once I have everything built in and I have a nice fade, I'm going to come in and cap it. And I'm going to start where that foil pretty much begins. Since that is so thin, I want to already start creating that tip up, and then I can just kind of pretty much blend it in with everything else. So back to my French nail, I have already filed it into shape, and now I'm coming in with my tip color. Now this color, I want to say, is from iGel. I don't know, but I'm going to double check. But y'all, I think I'm going to throw it away. This is like my second or third time using it, and it is so hard to use. As you can see, I placed it there. I'm already trying to form it, and as I'm trying to form it, it is already so dry that I can't move it. So I'm going to just take it off and I'm going to start over. Now when I picked up my first bead, I dried it out like I do all my other beads. But this second one that I'm coming in with, I didn't do that. I'm going to apply it as wet as I can, so that way it gives me time enough to move it. But that's not the only issue with this color. It's very splotchy. So even as you apply it, there's streaks through it. It's just not a good color. And I'm not going to use it again. And every time I reach for it, as soon as I place the bead, I remember, okay, this is just a terrible powder to try to work with. If you try to use it, I guess, like as a design marble, real wet, it may work, but like as a solid, it's trash, y'all. And in this instance, it's okay that it's going to be splotchy because I'm putting something over it. My design is going to cover it up. So that's why I'm not too much stressed out about it. It's kind of just a background color. But if I was going to just count on this color just to stand alone, then I would choose another one. It wouldn't work at all. I molded it the best way that I could, but just for good measure, I'm going to go in with a really wet bead and use that as my final little coat to kind of try to blend some of that in. So here are the nails after they have all been applied just with application, and then here they are after they have been filed and ready for shape. So moving right into my design, I'm going to start with that middle finger, and I have already went in and applied a top coat to that, and then when it came out I wiped away any inhibition layer. And now I'm coming in and I'm going to create a crocodile print design for this nail. So I'm going to be using that same color that I used in the set, but as you can see, I'm starting off with the white first. Now I'm doing this for two reasons. I'm doing it because first of all, I want to create height. I don't want my design to be so flat, so I'm coming in with one layer first. And also by it being white, when I come in with my next color, which is that neon kind of yellow green, it's going to just brighten that color all the way up. That gel color is very sheer, so by me applying the white first, it's going to give it some opaqueness. So I'm going to go in, apply that crocodile print to that whole tip nail, and then I'm going to cure it for a full 60 seconds. So once it comes out of the lamp, I'm just basically going to trace over all of that white with that green polish. Now I'm going to try to be very careful though and go over all of the white and not leave any bit of that white peeking through. And it's fairly easy. I'm able to go right over that and just kind of trace over it. And then once I have that done, I'm going to come in with just a clear powder. I'm going to sprinkle that over the nail, and I'm going to be excessive with it. I want to add a lot of that powder to make sure that I'm covering all of that gel polish, and then I'll cure that for a full 60 seconds. And jumping right over to that thumb, I'm going to come in with my foil gel, and I'm going to apply that just to one side of that nail. I'm going to cure it for a full 60 seconds, and then when it comes out of the lamp, I'm going to take my snakeskin foil, apply that over the thumb, kind of measure it where I want it to be, press down, and then rub that foil in. So to remove that, I'm going to peel that foil back very slowly. This is going to allow me to see if some of that foil has not stuck down. So I'm just going to reapply it and rub it back in as much as I can, and then just slowly peel that back. Now this one wasn't a very clean peel away. I still had a few spots missing. So in that case, I'm just going to come in and really just bounce it off of that nail. Try to get it stuck as much as I can. If it was so bad, then I would go in with another layer of the gel and then just reapply it to the spots where I needed it to be. So once I have it all applied, I'm going to come in and kind of clean it up. I want most of that snake skin to be just on one side of the nail, so I'm going to make sure that that line is pretty much straight, and it didn't need much, just a little bit here and there, and I'm using just a very little bit of acetone on my brush to clean that up. Once I have that done, I'm going to come in with my crystal nail gel, and I'm going to apply that straight down the center of that nail, and I'm going to come in and just add some diamonds there. Okay, so here is going to be my statement nail. Now I've already went in and top coated this nail, and now I'm coming in and I have this little snake that I wanted to use, and I felt like, okay, I need to buff this to really make sure that this nail is going to stick on here. So I buffed it, wiped away any of that dust with some alcohol, and now I'm coming in with my gel. Now, as I'm doing this, y'all, I really wanted to use this little snake. But if you can recall in my last video when I got them, to me, I felt like they were just too big. So I go in, I apply it, I'm checking it out, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's cute, but it's just too big. Too big. Maybe if her nails were a little bit more wider, I would have went ahead and did it, but I decided not to. I was like, I can't do it. It's just too big. And she's a CNA, so I just knew she was going to have a hard time with it. So I just scratched that design, and now I'm going to come in and use some other chunkier diamonds that I did have. Something that was just going to work a little bit better for her. So for the pinky, I have already went in with a matte top coat and applied that to that nail. And now I'm coming in with that white, and I'm pretty much just going to do the edge outline on that nail. I'm going to start off by using my white. Gonna get it filled in, cure it for a full 60 seconds, and then I'm going to come back in with that green polish and then trace right over that white. This nail, I'm basically doing a crocodile print also. So once I have that cured, I'm going to come in with that green and just add some dots on the side of that nail. Then I'm going to come in with my clear, sprinkle that fully over that nail, and then I'm going to cure it for a full 60 seconds. And that is pretty much it for this set, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.